helping?
I'm always helpful.
Are you helping?
Always.
Hey y'all, it's Alirien, and welcome to the recipe video for Imbolc for this year. And we are making Boxty, which are a traditional Irish potato pancake. Thank you, love. He is already starting on the first step. I will get to that in just a moment. And as with the previous one, I will explain some of the correspondences behind some of the ingredients and Boxty itself, and why it works for Imbolc, or Brigid's Day as it's also called. But if nothing else, Boxty being a traditional Irish recipe that utilizes potatoes to make essentially a pancake that can be sweet or savory, is perfect because Imbolc is also called Brigid's Day. It's a Celtic tradition of celebrating that winter is now drawing to its close and the spring is coming. It falls directly in line with Groundhog's Day and is also referred to as Candlemas. It's when we light our candles and keep our hearts burning through the winter with renewed hope for the coming spring that is 6 weeks or fewer away. And it is a perfect time of general cleansing in order to prepare for that new spring and getting as much rest as we can in these last 6 weeks before the warmth and the light of spring. It means that we need to set to work again, sowing our seeds, planting our crops. That is, of course, if we were still in a very much farmstead-based lifestyle. But in general, even if you don't live on a farm and you're not having to live directly off of your land, it's a great time to start to prepare for the warmth and the light of the spring and start making the first steps and all of the plans for what it is that you want to accomplish in the year to come. I'm having to talk over the sizzling of the bacon. The actual first step of this recipe is to make mashed potatoes, which is what you see here. You need about a cup of the mashed potatoes for the final recipe. You can, of course, make those mashed potatoes however you see fit. I boiled about 6 potatoes and mashed them in my stand mixer with butter, milk, basil, bay, salt, pepper, some Asiago cheese, and some Parmesan cheese shredded straight off of the block. Oh, and some garlic powder. That was the other thing I used. Outside of that, you will also need to grate some raw potatoes as well to make sort of a hash brown consistency. We are going to be adding a bit more cheese to the Boxty itself. We're going for sort of a loaded potato savory flavor. So we've got some Kerrygold Dubliner cheese. It has a bit of a sweetness, and we've never had it, but we're hoping that it compares to Tillamook's English-style sweet cheddar. We're going to see how that compares. You need some flour and 1 egg, and we're also going to be adding some sour cream, again for that loaded potato flavor and to make them a bit creamier and hopefully balance out some of what we're adding. And of course, we'll be chopping up and adding some bacon, which he is sizzling in the skillet over there now. We just got a small pack of center cut bacon, but you can use whatever bacon you like. We're using russet potatoes, but again, you can use red skin, you can use yellow, whatever works for you. The important thing here is that you need a lot of potato, and leftover mashed potatoes are perfect because it helps to use up any extra that you might have, and that's perfect for the mentality of Imbolc because you're having to keep working from whatever you still have stored up from the harvest before winter and make it last as much as you can until spring. So while he's working on that bacon, I'm going to start grating some potato. I will also add a link in the descriptive tone below the video with the exact recipe that I'm using, but use whichever recipe for Boxty you prefer. I'm gonna get a bowl out here. Actually, I'm gonna get a measuring cup, box grater, and potatoes. Now I'm gonna give these a rinse real quick in order to get off any dirt that's lingering on the peels, but you need about 1.5 cups of grated raw potato.
Potatoes are associated with the moon and the element of earth and are used for image magic and healing.
I actually only needed the one larger potato. Here's our 1.5 cups of grated potato. I will need a cup of the mashed potato. I also forgot to mention at the top, but I do also need some milk. I need a tablespoon of milk. Pop the potatoes in here, and we're gonna mix that with the cup of flour. Pop our flour.
Flour, being made from wheat, is associated with Venus and the element of earth, and has associations of fertility and money.
So now we mix the cup of flour in with the grated potato and coat everything. I'm gonna remove my rings for this part. You just want to break up any clumps of the potato and make sure that any spots that are still damp and starchy get evenly coated as best you can manage. He is adding in the cup of mashed potatoes with the floured grated potato, and I'm going to whisk the egg together with the tablespoon of milk. And we already discussed eggs and milk in the last recipe in the eggnog video, so if you haven't seen that, go give it a watch. And we are using whole milk because that is our preference. We just think it tastes better. But if you prefer reduced fat, skim, lactose-free, use whatever you prefer or have on hand. If you're going for sweet Boxty, you could even use chocolate milk. Because remember, potatoes are just a starch. They'll take on the flavor of basically anything you add to them. And if you don't have a tiny whisk, you can just use a fork. Works the same way, just like scrambling eggs. Maybe awesome. Better look at him stirring those.
Oh yes, that's what we wanted to watch.
Only your hands are in the frame.
It's not my one.
Pepper, or black pepper, is associated with Mars and the element of fire, and protection, exorcism, or banishment. Salt is one of the most important and iconic spices you can use, not only in cooking, but also in magic. It represents protection, purification, prosperity, and abundance. And various colors and types of salts carry their own added benefits as well. The other 3 spices incorporated into the potatoes are garlic, which is associated with Mars, fire, protection, healing, exorcism, lust, and anti-theft. Bay, associated with the sun, the element of fire, protection, psychic ability, healing, purification, and strength. And basil, associated with Mars and fire, love, exorcism, wealth, flying, and protection.
Go for it.
With what hand, ma'am?
So we're gonna go ahead and incorporate the sour cream. And we're gonna incorporate our other toppings like the grated cheese and the chopped bacon. And I am grating straight off the block because that gives a fresher taste and the cheese melts a lot better when it's shredded yourself. Strongman has taken over so that the cheese is grated more efficiently. I mentioned that we were adding our toppings, so you
Pork in all its forms is often associated with fire and tied to the goddess Demeter and qualities of strength, fertility, prosperity, luck, and
Alright,
longevity.
well, I think that's about as incorporated as it's gonna get. And now we make pancakes.
All right, so now you just scoop out however much you want and as big or small of a circle as you prefer into your skillet.
Circle.
Let it circular-ish shape. You could make square ones if you wanted. You could go the Wendy's route. Let it brown and crisp on one side. You know, just like you would any other pancake or a flatbread or something. And once it's solid enough on one side, flip it over and crisp or brown the other side.
The stove is on medium temperature, by the way, if that matters for...
How long would you say on each side, roughly?
I would keep an eye on it. Basically, once it's easy to scoot around on the thing,
It's probably
getting close. So
Yeah.
give it a flip.
And as far as how brown and crispy, that's
That's
going to
a
be
personal
personal preference, just like pancakes or hash browns or whatever else.
But I would say if you're going
Burgers.
more than 5 minutes on one side, your heat's too low. If
Okay.
you're going faster,
Right, because you said medium heat.
If you're going faster, then your heat's too hot. So I'd say maybe about 5 minutes.
5 minutes, yeah, roughly 5 minutes on each side over medium heat.
And we are frying these in the same grease left over from cooking the bacon earlier. But you can of course use olive oil, vegetable oil, canola oil, straight up butter, which would have been our next option if we hadn't done the bacon grease.
You're gonna have to switch over to butter in a bit because it's gonna soak up the grease.
I'll grab the top for you.
Too long. You want it to basically be like hash brown consistency.
Yeah, basically a big hash brown patty. And here are the finished Boxty. You can make them any size and any thickness you really want. This is ideal for us. And because these are savory, we're gonna be pairing this with whatever sauces or other dishes typically go well with savory things. Like I've got a leftover drumette from dinner a few nights ago in there that I'm gonna pull out and heat up to go with this. And of course there's bacon already in there, which is other protein. You can have it on its own or as part of a larger meal. It's totally up to you. But these are the finished Boxty. Honestly, 2 of these is probably going to be about as filling as, if not more filling than your typical pancakes or about this much. I mean, it's basically hash browns in pancake form. So have it however you would normally have hash browns or other potato-based dishes. And since these are still fresh and hot, we're going to put together our dinner and dig in just a moment here. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know where all the buttons and the links are at this point to show me your love. If you would like more videos like this, I have my DIY playlist linked in the cards and in the dibble dabble below, where you can also find my link tree if you want to find where I'm active elsewhere. As always, I would like to give a special thanks to my coven of patrons who continue to be my biggest supporters, especially Candle tier members Mitchell and Unimportant. If you would like to join their ranks tier viewer, again check that link tree below for Patreon, where my pledges start at $1 a month. Thanks again, stay tuned for the Imbolc tarot readings on the 1st of February, and I'll see you all again very soon. Keep aiming, my loves. Mwah! Bye y'all. It's very good smelling cheese.
Oh yeah, it smells great. Great.
That audio's going in. Also, Sláinte and blessed Brigid's Day.